Jerome Powell got a visitor. And this visitor is kind of a big deal of a guy, pretty powerful guy. A guy named Donald J. Trump shows up to kind of see what's going on with the federal building. And it's one of the most awkward moments he's had with anybody else. And he says, wow, so you guys spent how much money on this? Well, you spent, no, it's $3.1 billion. No, it's not. No, it's not. Rob, can you play that first clip of them two together, if you know which one I'm talking about? This is Jerome Powell having a visit by President Trump with their hard hats, looking amazing. I'm sure the president loves wearing that hard hat. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Rob.
Hey, Jerome.
Scott, what's going on here?
Also, they took a screenshot of that and put it on the front page of the Wall Street Journal of Trump standing there with Powell in the hard hat. I mean, just an iconic. I don't think he's going to fire Powell, actually. He's got like 8 months to go. I think he's just going to spend every day making him as miserable as possible for the next 8 months. I don't think he's going to fire him. But misery is what's going on. But honestly, look, there's been a lot of debate about these numbers. I've followed this guy and have known him for years, a guy named Mark Paoletta, who's with the Office of Management and Budget, at Mark Paoletta on X. So after all this back and forth, he tweets out the actual document showing the number. Trump was right. Trump was right about the cost and the cost overruns here, and Powell's trying to dispute it. And
who tweeted this with
Mark,
the number?
His guy's name's Mark Paoletta.
And how do you spell his last name?
Paoletta. Mark Paoletta. Just at Mark Paoletta. Yep. And so if you look at his posts,
a little bit lower, it's a chart.
Yeah, it's a chart, and he's like, here's the actual documents, because Democrats kind of went crazy about this, but he actually has the facts. And so Trump showed up over there, I think mostly to make Powell miserable, but also to tell the American people he's got an eye on what's going on in the government and how much money we're spending over there. So anyway.
So he was right about the $3.1 billion.
Yes.
So a part of this, Tom, I mean, Scott, has got a point that he's just trying to get under skin. Maybe he's trying to push him to want to resign.
Yeah, keep going there. If you keep going, right there. Yeah. There it is.
Okay, so zoom in.
Oh, man, receipts are so inconvenient.
Yeah, but if you read his post, you can see it.
Go read his post, Rob. Close that. Let's read his post. I can see what he's saying. If you can, there you go. If you can zoom in a little bit, you're absolutely wrong, Norma Ornstein. Trump 45 had nothing to do with Federal Reserve Jerome Powell's on $1 billion cost overrun. 2022 budget was $1.4 billion for the current building in 1951 Constitution Avenue construction project, and it was adopted in November 2021. By 2025, the FRB budget shows cost for his project are now $2.5 billion, a more than $1 billion cost overrun for the current project, an 88% increase. This all came after Trump 45 and on Biden's watch. Final project was approved in September 2021. Do some research before spewing your despicable lies and smear. Tim Scott is a superb senator and patriot. He is right to press Jerome Powell on his outrageous mismanagement. President Trump was 100% correct in his numbers. The cost for the project is now $3.1 billion. This includes the, how do you pronounce that word? Eccles, Martin, and 1951 building, which are all part of the comprehensive overhaul and all listed on the FRB. Go a little bit lower, Rob, to see that 3.1. There you go.
Yeah, Paoletta, by the way, he's the general counsel at the Office of Management and Budget. This is one of the smartest lawyers in Washington, D.C. He works for Russ Vought. You do not want to argue about the receipts with Mark Paoletta. I'm just telling you, I've known this guy for years.
So he's that guy.
He's that guy.
So, Tom, is this $3.1 billion of upgrades to the building, or is it a brand spanking new building they're building?
Well, there's a little bit of a debate on that. Basically, when you have government buildings that get completely refurbished, like you go back and the whole Capitol Dome was completely refurbished. But it's the bones of our historical buildings usually stay intact, and we do tremendous renovation to them. And when you read about all the renovations that are being done here, there are elevators that go up to like one office. They go up to a certain private office. And so there's a variety of things that go in there that you say to yourself, as American, do we really need all this for the Fed? But this is the historic buildings in Washington. And let's face it, it costs more to renovate them than a typical building because we're not tearing anything down. You're sort of cleaning out and then building from the inside out. Now, I haven't seen the great detail on it, but I trust OMB. OMB is usually... You typically have good, patriotic, individuals that are giving the media and the citizen the straight scoop out of OMB, and I believe that's what's happening here. And so what you have here is a complete rebuild, and that was very disingenuous what Powell said. And I'm usually appreciative of Powell's measured thing. But it'd be like him saying, well, it didn't cost $100,000 to paint the White House, only cost $50. Wait a minute. Well, the other 50 was the West Wing. The West Wing's part of the White House, dude. It's like part of it. It's like trying to say, you see what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh no,
but is
honey.
this $3.1 billion of upgrades, or is it a new building?
Rebuild and upgrades of the existing building.
But nothing new. That's the question.
No, the whole inside is going to be very, very new, but all the outside.
But this is not a brand spanking new building they're building.
No.
Okay, can you go to Apple's headquarters, Rob?
The outside of the Fed will still
Type
look
in
like the
Apple
outside of the Fed.
headquarters, $5 billion. Okay.
I love this.
Apple headquarters, $5 billion. So let me get this straight. Go to images if you could. Just go to images and let's see the headquarters. That ridiculous headquarters cost them $5 billion to make.
Exactly.
And by the way, that has roughly 12 to 15,000 people working there. It's a free market company, right? It's a publicly traded company. $5 billion. This is the most expensive headquarters ever built, but it's a new build. And by the way, there's about 12 to 15,000 people that work there. I believe the building that they're updating and upgrading, only 2,800 people work in that building at $3.1 billion of upgrades. Like, what are you adding to it? Even the second most expensive headquarters that was built, if I'm not mistaken, I saw this yesterday, was Goldman Sachs, the new one in New York. We were there just a few months ago. That's a 44-story one for $2.1 billion, okay? Then you have a couple other one that was done. Devon PNC did one for $400 million. How the hell are you spending $3.1 billion for a Federal Reserve building upgrade?
I think it happens two ways. Nobody usually goes broke taking a contract with the Department of Defense or the federal government. They're ripe with corruption, and these contracts are usually quite bloated. And so, number one, I'd be willing to take a look at it if you had an independent auditor that took a look at exactly what you're talking about and looked at the price per square foot and what you're doing. And I think what you're going to find is just a horrible gouge of the American taxpayer to rebuild basically the inside of the Fed and the kind of contracts that go with it. And if he thinks it's bad, if he thinks he's having a bad day, he's about to be in the news having an even worse day, because around 4 p.m. tomorrow, Trump's going to be on his butt again because he's going to announce he's not lowering interest rates tomorrow.
You don't think he will tomorrow?
No, I don't think he will at all tomorrow. Everybody wants a quarter point. They say there's some unemployment issues, there's things going on. Other people say, nah, inflation and the stock market and other things seem to point to other things. So they're probably going to stand pat until September 18th, 19th or something. And if he does that, he's going to go from being in the news for this to tomorrow Trump on him all over again.
I think a lot of government buildings are old, and I fully buy that there needs to be renovations of them because they're not secure, they got asbestos, they need new whatever. I get that. But I think this is a story about management. So you say we're going to renovate this. And who's actually managing the day-to-day, line-by-line details of it? You know, Trump is a builder. He's built things, he's renovated things, he's refurbished things. And I think the story here is the official Washington, the people in official Washington who you would trust to manage a project like this, functionally have no interest in managing it, have no idea how to manage a project like this, and all of a sudden, voila, it's $3.1 billion. And so to me, this is another story about the rejection that the American people put on official Washington twice with Trump, which is to say, we don't really trust how you manage things, so we'll bring in somebody from the outside who has this looks like a business guy to us. And to me, that's the optics of this. A guy who knows how to manage things shows up and talks to a guy who clearly didn't pay that close of attention to it, and all of a sudden we got $3.1 billion on a sheet here.
So when you're going through this, Adam, I'm going to come to you. On this story, you'll hear, Powell pushes back on Trump's cost claim, which we just watched right now. Then you see Trump pats him in the back, right? I don't know if you've seen that one, and he puts his tongue out. Is this the one, Rob?
Yes.
Go ahead, Rob. Watch this. So it's very
Trump
simple.
being Trump.
I'd love him to lower interest rates. Other than that, it's all good. And then later on, Powell says they were honored by Trump's tour of the building site. They were honored. Adam, is this Trump sitting there saying shit? It's like a CEO having a 5-year contract on an employee or 3-year contract on an employee, finding a way to leave him, have him leave independently on his own without firing him to pay unemployment. It's kind of like, look, man, if you don't do this, you're going to get investigated for fraud, for spending all this money on this property you shouldn't have done. It's either you're going to be investigated for fraud and your legacy is going to look like shit, or number two, step out the way and let me put Bessent or whoever else is going to be in place of you? Which one do you think it is?
Well, when the cameras are rolling, Jerome Powell is completely out of his league next to Donald Trump. Because why? Donald Trump is a pig. And what do I mean by that? You know, they say never wrestle with the pig because you're both are going to get dirty and the pig loves it. Trump, when he goes live on air and he has someone sitting next to him, there's no telling what he's going to say, no saying what he's going to do. We saw what he did with Zelensky. He don't have the cards. He dressed him down, Zelensky. But they don't know what to do. You saw when the South African president showed up and he's like, yeah, you're doing a white genocide. Let's take a look.
Roll the tape.
Whoa, what? Jerome Powell, just like that. Your favorite scene when you interviewed Trump and you talked about, I loved your real life sort of vlog when you had Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. And he's like, I'll own the government. Shut it down. Mm-hmm. I don't care about you. Sloppy Nancy and sloppy Chuck. He doesn't give a shit. He will completely expose and just call out everybody live in effect. And he doesn't care how bad it makes him look himself.
The question is,
as long as the other person looks bad.
Scott, is this going to work on Jerome Powell?
I hope it does. But let me tell you a story. I've written a book. It comes out in November. It's called Revolution of Common Sense. It's about Trump. It's about the first 100-something days. I interviewed Scott Bessent. And over Bessent, I like him a lot. All-star.
Yes.
Over his desk, there is a picture of Abraham Lincoln. I said, is that your favorite Republican? He said, no. Teddy Roosevelt. He said, have you ever read about Teddy Roosevelt? The people who knew him and who wrote about him, they said he could walk into a room and just overwhelm you with his personality. That's Trump. Bessent is telling me in this story that he has seen Donald Trump in interpersonal situations absolutely overwhelm people with his interpersonal ability. And so when I see him doing this thing with Powell, I think he does it with congressmen. I think he does it with senators. I think he does it with people he wants to influence. You get in the proximity of this guy, and he kind of overwhelms you. Now, I don't know if it's going to work on Powell. So he's either going to be overwhelmed and cut rates, or he's going to be embarrassed and humiliated for the next 8 months. Either way, that's what, to me, that is part of the innate talent of Trump, is the ability to overwhelm you. And the analog to this, according to Scott Bessent, is Teddy Roosevelt.
And by the way, Teddy Roosevelt, one of the great stories, he had such a tough life with all the losses he had in his personal life. For him to be who he became later on, it's one of the best stories we have in America. But, yeah, I mean, Wall Street Journal says the story, right? That Trump perfects the art of making powerful people squirm on camera. Rob, do we have a clip on this?
It's kind of what Adam had alluded to, the 3 clips of the South African president, Zelensky, and then what he just did with Jerome Powell.
How long is that, by the way? Is it a long clip or is it a short clip?
I can play you a short clip.
Yeah, let's see which one you got.
This is him with Zelensky, where he checks Zelensky and tells him, you're going to get us into World War III.
Go for it. Let's see this one.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that. Remember this. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right.
I love his
There's
hands.
there's something
have the
very
cards.
annoying about Zelensky. There's something very annoying about Zelensky. Once a year, we host a conference called the Vol Conference. We're expecting nearly 12,000 people here at the event. Rob, you can play the clip and just turn off the audio while I'm going through it. And we have special guest speakers that will be there this year. You already know Tony Robbins. If you've never seen Tony Robbins live, you got to do whatever you can to come to this event. He's going to be speaking for a couple hours and doing a Q&A. And then we have Martha Stewart. We were able to get Martha Stewart to agree to come out, the first original influencer that became a billionaire in 99. She's going to share her tips on what she did. She's got a documentary that came out. Everybody I see, the ladies are like, oh, my God, did you watch the documentary? This is your chance to get a chance to have an opportunity to meet her. And then David Falk, Michael Jordan's agent, who did all those big deals, will be at the Vol Conference. 3 days, 200-page manual we'll go through together. Best place for networking. Bring your spouse, bring your business partner. If you haven't yet registered, go to thevaultconference.com or that QR code right there. Get registered. Come spend 3.5 days with us, September 8th through the 11th at the Gaylord. And don't tell me you'll do it next year. I'm so tired of 25 years of hearing everybody saying next year, next year, next year. Do it now. Spend 3.5 days with us. We can't wait to see you there.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.